That's the only thing.
Yep. Yeah,
But if you can get that up, that would be awesome.
webinar is now streaming live on Facebook.
Here we go. Okay, cool.
I can see us.
Excellent. Okay, so we are on. All right. Would you like to do the introductions?
I will. Wait on. It's still black, but is that right?
Okay.
Oh, no. There we go. Hi, guys, and welcome to our hashtag Educators Can Night, where we talk all things family daycare, answer your questions, and I have the beautiful Nikki Leonti with me. Hi, Nikki. How was your week?
It was a great week. I've had a lot happening this week, so it's been a lot of fun, actually. How about your week?
Yeah, good. Lots of the weather's finally warmed up, and we've been going for lots of walks, and the children have been out and about collecting berries and sticks and all sorts of things. So it's a bit nice. Excellent. There's a real difference here between winter and, when summer comes through. So we take advantage of that, and that's been a really nice difference that I've really felt this week.
Excellent. Oh, good. I'm glad, because it's been rain. Like the last week it rained all week, and this week it's actually been really nice, but not too hot. Nice. So it's been perfect this week. Quite amazing, actually. So yes.
Oh, that's great.
Looking forward to, I mean, it's November next week, which is insane.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. I just can't believe it. And it's this year has just seriously flown. So guys, we have comments. As you come on, say hi. You know we love comments. I will find them on. It says we have 3 comments, but it won't show them to me.
Let me see if I'll bring them up.
There we go. Hi, Kathleen. How are you? Hi, Marilyn. Say hi, guys, as you come on. It's so nice to see people on with us. Oh, and now I can hear myself. Okay, so we have a couple
that's
of really...
the only problem.
I just muted it. I muted it. We have a couple of great questions tonight, and sort of discussion points that I thought were really important for this year. But if you have any more questions or anything that comes to mind that you would like us to talk about, we would love you to pop them in the comments as well. And especially if you're here in the replay and you listen to us talk about something and go, oh, I don't quite understand what you said there, ask us for clarification. Put more questions in. We will come back and check them before next week. And it's really nice to know that we're talking about things that matter to you as well. My question is, and I had it from a lady this week, is now too early to start planning for my family daycare if I'm going to start next year? And I love this question because sometimes you go, well, sometimes some jobs will only take a week to get into. Once you're interviewed, you're into it. And then others, like running your own business and setting up a family daycare, could take a little bit more. So, Nikki, what did you find when you started your family daycare? How long did it really take from you going, oh, I think that's a great idea, I might start researching, to actually starting?
For me, it took about a month, actually. It was not very long, but I just want to clarify some of these things because it's not always the case. So I came from a teaching background. So I already had teacher registration. I already had my blue card exemption, and I already had my first aid. So those were like the key things that you need to factor in regards to starting, because you cannot start without those things. You don't need to be a registered teacher, but you do need to be enrolled in a Certificate 3. And in some states in Australia, you actually have to complete your Certificate 3 before you can start, which is still the case. I'm 99% certain in South Australia. I don't know. I don't think that's the case in New South Wales, Queensland or Victoria. but you definitely want to check to see what is required before you start. So for me, it was a month, and in that, as soon as I kind of had the idea, I started ringing around with some family daycare educators in the area, and I went and met with one and asked her all my crazy questions because there wasn't a lot of information out there, which is why I actually started the blog in the first place, because I found the only information I could get was from Family Daycare Australia, and it was not very concise. No. I wanted to know, how much is it going to cost me? How long is it going to take me? How do I fill these vacancies? I didn't know how to do any of that. So that's why I started the blog. But, you know, for me, because I had those 3 kind of elements already, it did not take very long. So you need to factor that in. But the research is really important. You want to make sure that there's some demand in your area. And also what I talk about all the time is making sure that you have a point of difference. So why would a family come to you as opposed to the educator on similar qualifications as a lady down the road? Okay, so why would they come to you? And for me, my real point of difference was my outdoor environment. I had a real focus when I opened on outdoor play, a lot of kind of natural resource play, like materials. We did a lot of walks and went to the park and, you know, all of that kind of thing. Most of my environment was actually set up outside, which we can do in Queensland because of the weather. It's not that different between, you know, maybe it gets a bit hotter in the summer, but, you know, it's really not that cold in winter to be able to be outside quite a lot of the day. So for me, that was my point of difference. And so when I started promoting myself, I filled up really quickly. In less than 2 days, I had filled all my spots. But if you don't have that point of difference and you don't stand out, because you're not just competing against family daycare educators, but also local centres. Yeah. And when I say you're competing with local centres, you have the same audience, you know, but it's not a direct competition. I don't want you to see it as a direct competition, but I want you to realize that you're aiming at slightly different families. Families either want family daycare or they want a childcare centre. And so part of your job as a family daycare educator is to really highlight why they should pick family daycare and then why they should pick you. So, I mean, I know that you started yours a lot longer ago than I did, but what were some of the things that you remember doing before you started?
When I started here in Orange, where I am now, the research was the big one, because I really needed, as you said, the point of difference. I needed to work out what that was going to be. And for me, the two of them was where I'm situated. I'm a little bit out of town, so I'm rural. I offer, you know, we're on 5 acres, so lots of play space, large yard, but also time for me. I have, you know, centres close on the way to town that weren't full, yet weren't opening long hours either. So by me opening earlier than they were opening, then I filled up straight away. So research for that point of difference, I think, is super important. Also, I knew very much, because I'd been working in the scheme office, I knew which scheme I was going to go with. So there was no debate there. But also I knew how long they like to train their educators and what they liked their training schedule to be and whatnot. And of course, like, I had my diploma already and my working with children check. So some of those sorts of things that take a while here in New South Wales, I already had as well. Yeah. And but I did start interviewing parents before the Christmas break, so that 2-3 weeks into January I could hit the ground running. So do have a think about that time over Christmas as well. Don't expect to, unless you interview in December, don't expect to hit the ground running in January, because a lot of parents aren't actually looking for care in that January period. They're all on holidays. They're all trying to take it easy, and they that first week of Feb is often when they start looking for care. So,
or it's now.
Or now, absolutely.
Yeah.
I've had like 3 inquiries this week for care now. They need it now before Christmas. And so realistically, if you're thinking of running a family daycare, now is a super place to time to start, because you will pick up those parents that need to start work or go back to work often before Christmas.
Yeah. And I mean, even for me, my 2 are starting at school, like my second one is starting at school next year.
Yeah.
And, sometimes I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to be doing next year? People are trying to plan that. But and one of the advantages, I guess, of not starting until January, but interviewing now, is that existing educators don't necessarily have the ability to hold a spot until January. So they cannot give a definitive answer if they're going to have that spot in January. So you could be getting families who potentially haven't been able to secure a spot definitely, and you could be getting those ones. So I would definitely be starting now, doing your research, then registering. To give you some rough guidelines about timeframes, in Queensland for your blue card, I mean, I know that's a national thing, but up here it takes around 6 weeks to get that, the working with children's check. Can take up to 8 weeks. So you want to allow a bit of time for that. And enrolling in your certificate 3, I mean, I would allow a couple of weeks for that. And then also your first aid. I mean, your first aid, you could probably ring up a local training centre and get in next week. So that is not a major one. You can do that fairly quickly. What was the other thing? I guess just setting up.
Yes, I think your home check as well, because sometimes getting someone else in with fresh eyes is really important. Like, yes, we can look over our homes and know that it's child friendly for us and read the regs and go, okay, well, it might, all the policies of the scheme as well. Make sure you read those and see that, I think it meets all of those. But having fresh eyes look over your environment before you actually 100% decide or make big financial commitments is super important as well.
Yeah. And I think one of the bigger costs is childproofing your home, because when you have your own children, you don't have to go to that level that's required for running family daycare. And some of those more expensive elements could be making sure that all your stairways are secure, that they've got gates top and bottom, making sure all your glass has got that protective coating, what's it called?
Yeah, your glass certification. It's super, it can range from $200 to $5,000. Like, there's just a massive difference between houses and what they need.
Yeah. So
fencing is another big one as well.
Fencing is a big one. And especially if you have any pets, making sure that you've got space and fencing up for them as well to be away from the children. Wow. So, I mean, you have got a lot of different things. And for us, I mean, I'm not running family daycare right now, but we have a pool. We've moved to this house and we have a pool. So that alone would be another thing that you would have to look at. I mean, personally, I've seen other educators, I've spoken to them who have had a pool and they have gone to the extra level of having a secure lock. So not just the fence lock itself, but also another lock on it, so that their own slightly older children don't don't walk straight into the pool and open, So they keep the whole pool area needs to be off bounds completely while you're operational. So, there's different things to think about, but we are saying the extreme level, like we're talking about some of those extreme things that you're not going to think about, but it's not always the case. Like, you don't, especially if you do have children yourself, most of your house is going to be fairly safe. Make sure your TV's secure, PowerPoints are secure. Kitchen, you kind of want your kitchen gated off and secured. Just, it's so much easier rather than having all of the things like the locks on all the cupboards and the dishwasher and all of that stuff. I just fence my kitchen off.
Yeah, okay.
So much easier. Yeah. So, I mean, if you're just starting out and you haven't got any qualifications or anything, I would allow at least 2 months. So now is really the perfect time to get started.
Yeah, I totally agree. I think 6 to 8 weeks is is a realistic time frame to do everything you need, because some things can be time consuming, and if you've then interviewed parents and committed to a date, you want to make sure you can meet that date as well. And that's the other thing as well. You want to be reliable right from the start.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think once you start doing a bit of research as well, and even talking to potential families, so people you see at the park or play groups or school run or wherever you see other families, and asking them what they are looking for. Another really good place to do a bit of research is in your childcare vacancies Facebook groups, and there'll be a different one in your local area. And that is a really good one, because in there you're going to find, I'm looking for care for such and such for these hours on these days, or, is there any care in these areas, all of that kind of thing. So you can do a bit of research there for what parents are actually looking for, so you can tailor what you're doing, because you don't, one of the other things I notice a lot of new educators or potential educators don't think about is that you don't have to be open 5 days a week. You can be open part-time. So by doing your research, you can kind of work out what are the best days that I could be open for that are going to help me fill all my vacancies. Fridays and Mondays, I find that parents don't want Fridays and Mondays because there's a lot of public holidays. So that's, really, there's not a huge amount, but can impact.
And schemes too, most schemes will accept educators down to doing 3 days, so 3, 4 or 5 days, but there's no reason why 3 days even need to be, it could be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, if that's what your area needs. Really have a think about what would work for you and then what your area needs. Yeah.
I actually, I was always working on a Saturday, like every second Saturday, actually, I would be open because of families needing that. There wasn't anything else available. So,
we have educators here that work on a Saturday.
Yeah. Families need that. And then you've got, after hours, care for shift workers and things like that. So there's lots of different ways that you can make it happen, but yes, starting now would be a great option.
So Nikki, what other things do you think educators should think about for this time of year?
Well, so if you were already operating, I would really be thinking about you want to nail down your families about what their plans are for next year. So generally, families only need to give you 2 weeks' notice. So potentially they could just, let you know mid-December that they're not coming back in January. So, but you can get them to complete a form, letting you know another
January contract
for January, so that they are actually committing to that booking for next year, because you're going to start to get calls, or hopefully you are getting calls if you've got vacancies.
Hopefully you are,
So you want to know what spots you've got available. So trying to get families to fill out those contracts would be great. Now, if you're not sure what I'm talking about when it comes to those contracts, contact your scheme and they should have something in place.
Yes, you need to have a contract in place with your parents. It's part of the regs. between your scheme and yourself. So you need to have a contract for your parents.
Yeah. And so and your scheme is responsible for that. So, but in saying that, not all, it's not a requirement that you have to fill it out right now, but I would really recommend that you start doing that now so that you know exactly what families are up to for January. And then you can start promoting those spots for families who are looking for next year. So there's that would be my biggest piece of advice is don't wait until and mid-December. No one cares. Then they're going on holidays and no one wants to fill anything out by that point.
And look, most of the preschools and school enrollments, all of those sorts of things, they have all come through now. Like if a child is going to preschool next year, they have a spot. If a child is going to school next year, it's decided they are enrolled. Like it's not as if parents won't know those two things. So quite at the start of October, I had all of mine bar one definite on what he was doing, and that's just come through this week. So I know all of my children have all got back to me now for next year.
Yeah.
And it takes some negotiating, it takes some wriggling around, but there would be very few parents that could say to you, look, I don't know what I'm doing next year, and be truthful. I would assume.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, obviously you're going to have the rare situation where families have to move for work or whatever after they've given you that.
Yeah.
And that's just life. That's just the way it is. But as long as you can get that general idea. And some of the other things I would be thinking about is your resources as well. So one of the really cool things are Boxing Day sales happen. So if you have an idea of what your requirements are, you're going to have an idea of what children are coming in. So you can actually take advantage of those sales. Now you have to be quite.
I have this image of Nikki splurging. She's going resource splurging. But I totally agree.
So much cheaper. Like don't buy anything now because everything is all inflated right now because of Christmas. So I just think just wait till just after Christmas, put a little bit of money aside. For me, I always bought the bigger things in sales. So if we like a water table, chairs and things like that, even kids' books, I mean, they go on sale a lot at that time of year. Paint, like craft things, all of that kind of thing. There's all sorts of stuff that you can definitely get on sale. So it's just a matter of being organized.
I talked about this, touched on this a little bit on a live stream this week about looking at, the ages that your children have been this year versus the ages that they'll be next year. Because I did actually tuck away some of my resources and haven't bought them out this year. So I'll be doing like a bit of a swap and a bit of a reassess on whether I've got everything that I really want and whether I need to go splurging, which would be very nice, or whether I can do that again, whether I can swap out resources and pop them away that won't be appropriate.
Yeah. And I always, like at Christmas time, I was generally closed during Christmas. Actually, no. One year I wasn't, but for a family. But, it's really a good idea to clean everything and hello.
Hi.
Clean everything and change up your environment. Because I think that's the teacher in me gets so excited about planning for January of, new displays or whatever it is that you want to do. But just change it up, move the furniture around, change some of the resources around, go throw out the stuff that's broken or fix the things that need repairs. And it's not a lot
Or
of
move
fun
things
stuff.
that
But I do like to make, you can make it a bit of fun getting stuff
absolutely.
organized.
Yeah, or move things from inside that can go outside now.
Yeah.
Those sorts of decisions.
Yeah. So I like doing the really cool displays and stuff like that. In fact, you know what we should do? I think in January we should run a bit of a competition. I think we should run a competition
the sound of that.
On people's their entry displays.
Oh, okay.
Like, I've seen some amazing stuff that people have done. I think we should run a competition and do that.
Nice. In Jan. Is that Jan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. To kind of make, get everyone excited to be back for the new year and stuff. All right, we'll write that down. We'll have to remember that.
We will. We'll write that down. I like that.
But that would be fun, because I know people put in a lot of effort. And it's so disheartening when parents walk past, like, just sign it. You're like, oh my God.
But we would appreciate it.
I totally appreciate it. We know how much effort you went to, and we want to, celebrate that. So, I always hated it when no one noticed. I'm like, come on.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
So that could be a bit of fun. We'll do that for sure.
Yeah. We'll write that one down.
Yeah. And one of the other things at this time of year is thinking about Christmas activities and things like that. So I'm a big, I always do quite a lot of Christmas activities. I love it. And I've never had any families have an issue with that. But again, you may want to touch base with families and just ensure they're happy for their child to be doing these activities. If they're not, that is not the end of the world. Their child can do other activities. It's not, it doesn't have to have a Christmas focus. They could just be doing the same types of activities. But what were you going to say?
I need to say something. Please don't start them too early. I love doing lots of Christmas experiences, activities as well, but just wait a few more weeks yet, at least. Please.
Well, I think it depends though. Because I know some educators, some of my friends who are educators up here, they're term-based educators, so mostly have teachers. So they kind of need to get that stuff sorted. But if you're open right through to Christmas, if you start too early, you are literally going to burn through your ideas and you'll be getting to Christmas and starting to do Easter crafts.
Yes.
You'll run out of ideas.
Yeah.
But, when I was teaching, I had this amazing assistant, and she had been an assistant for 20-something years. So when I met her, she was just, she was incredible. And what she had was this, and it was this folded, crumpled piece of paper that she'd bring out at the end of term 3 every year. And it was her whole plan of the Christmas activities for the whole term 4. And so she had already planned it. So she'd worked with teachers in the past, and this is what she loved to do. And so the key thing here was picking one activity per week, so one core Christmas craft per week.
Yeah.
And then we also did, we made 3 presents. So the children made these presents, so they were for family, to send home for the families. I can't even remember what they all were. One of them was a little booklet with some photos of the child, and the child created like a cover page and it was stapled together. Nice. It was really beautiful. Yeah. Another one I think was like a little bag. So she would sew some fabric together, and the children got to paint on a bag. So they put all those things in. But she'd worked out what activity like the 3 Christmas gifts and then 1 Christmas activity per week. So if you're kind of working on even starting them the last week of November, and you just picked 4 Christmas activities and had 1 per week, because they can do several of the same Christmas craft, but if you've got too many different crafts in 1 week, it gets very time consuming, very expensive for resources. And you kind of run out of being able to sit down and do it, like help them do it. activity.
Yeah, you also run the risk of overwhelming the children as well, and you totally have the opposite effect of what you're trying to do with them.
Yeah, because you can do it in stages. It depends on how frequently your children come. If you've got a lot of full-timers, then you can kind of do it in stages. But if you've only got like a couple of kids that come 1 or 2 days a week, you can kind of break it up over a couple of weeks, because you want them. The point of Christmas activities, it's not just to get them done and make them look really, really pretty for families. That's not the point. No. The point is to introduce a new technique or a craft that children can and actually grasp and do themselves. So, you know, I hated seeing educators, you know, cutting out the edges so it's neater, or, you know, making it look better. Yeah. You know, that's not the point.
No, it's
so
not
you want to gradually teach them how to do it. And even like a 2-year-old can hold a paintbrush somewhat, or finger painting, you know, like it doesn't have to be, you can kind of scaffold that activity for the age, but just please let them do it.
Yes, let them do it. But building some of those skills now, you know, even if you do choose the experiences that you're going to do for Christmas craft, and then going, okay, well, this child will actually struggle with that, but we've got 6 weeks now where we can work on that skill. Like, look at the skills that that the children are going to need to do those experiences that you choose, and make it a learning experience, make it, you know, working forward to do that. And you can say it to parents as well. Oh, I've got the most fabulous experience planned for them for Christmas. We're just going to start working on, you know, just getting these scissor skills a little bit more independent. Those sorts of statements to parents, to know that you've got a plan for those children, for their child, and that you're working towards something. Parents love that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it makes your life a lot easier as well. Like, you want to, the more organized you are at this time of year, because family daycare is not the only thing that you have happening in your life. You've got your own family, you've got your own Christmas things to organize as well. So if you can, even if you just spend a couple of hours now working out what crafts you're going to do, kind of just like slot them into your schedule in your diary, and then, you know, you can start collecting the resources and doing that now, because you do not want to be hitting the shops after November. Like, it's just crazy
to try and squish craft experiences in. That's just not going to work. It's not.
No, it's not. So
I have a fabulous Christmas booklet that I put out last year, which steps through each. I actually did it with Locke, and I think we did 2 experiences each week for 4 weeks, and it shows you him doing them, what sort of skills you needed, and what resources you needed as well. So I will put that out as well. I think
that's a great idea.
Yeah, I think the link is in Pinterest at the moment, but I'll grab that back out for everyone, and
if you can grab the link, and I'll put it on my page as well, because I know that people would love that. Yeah, that would be great.
We actually love doing that too. It was fun. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah. I'm going to be doing that with Sophia this year. This will be, because last year she was only 6 months old at Christmas. This will be her first year that she's a little bit, you know, into it. But we'll see how she goes. But this Christmas Day, do you want to know a little secret?
Ooh, tell us.
I'm not cooking.
Oh,
I'm not cooking.
How did you get away with that?
Lunch. I know. It's always so we're actually going out for Christmas lunch this Christmas. So I'm pretty excited.
Yay!
Yeah. I can enjoy it too, because Andy, being from the UK, wants, you know, the turkey and the whole lot of stuff, and then the kids don't really eat that, so I'm making something else for them, and it's just like, oh man, this is exhausting. And you just in the oven, you know, cooking in the kitchen. Andy doesn't get that. I'm like, this is not what we do in Australia. It's too hot. So we're going to hang by the pool in the morning, and then we're going to go out for lunch. and then the kids will fall asleep on the way home and we can relax for a bit. And then, we'll play some games and stuff in the evening. So,
see, that
I've got it
good.
already sorted.
Oh.
Yes. So it'll be fun. But yes, if you can share that Christmas booklet, that would be awesome. I'd love to see.
Yeah, I can do that.
Excellent. I think, have we got any other questions?
I can't see any questions coming through, guys. If you've got any questions, put them through. I'd really like in the comments for you to put a couple of things. One, how long did it take you as an educator to get started? Were you able to do it in a fortnight? Was it 8 weeks or more? Just sort of give people, educators, an idea. That would be great. And 2, are you actually planning your Christmas things now? I think why not ask that?
Excited.
Yeah.
It's just so exciting,
I'm like, but I'm seriously, I will go right up to Christmas. So we will probably only do Christmas craft probably the 3 weeks before Christmas, I would say, would be us. But I quite enjoy like doing sensory boxes and those sorts of things. Like for me, it's not just craft. I really try and look across the board on, what I can put in the sandpit and what we can do as sensory boxes inside, and then what we can do in the way of craft and stuff as well. So don't just focus on craft. Try and think about in your environment what you can offer.
Yeah.
But we will talk more about that in the coming weeks, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely. I just love this time of year. It's very exciting for me. As you can tell.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right.
Thank you for joining us tonight, everyone.
Well, actually, I've just managed to see there's a few comments. So I'm just going to quickly read them out.
Oh, really? They're not coming up on mine. Sorry, everyone.
Katie has said that she had an educator finish up right as I was getting started. So I actually received about 3 families through her and 2 on my own. It was brilliant.
Yeah, that's great.
Yes. And Tracy likes that great motivation idea. Marilyn has actually left a comment which is interesting. Our scheme will not put on any new educators that have an outside pool anymore. So I know that could be from an incident from last year. I think that was in Western Australia.
Yeah.
Yes. So you will definitely need to check on that with schemes in your area. Yeah. So that's all our comments so far. And if you do have any comments, you're watching the recording, leave them below. We're always around. We love answering questions.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. For sure. Thank you for
Excellent.
joining
us. All right. Well,
I think we're off.
Thanks. We'll see you next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.